Hello, everyone.
All right,
I'm not used to talking with the microphone
yeah.
so close. I keep feeling like I have to reach down for a microphone.
Yep. It's the Madonna mics, right? That we brought out so long ago.
Yeah.
Saweetie, it's great to see you here. For those who are not familiar with Saweetie, she was born Diamonté Harper.
The full government.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. And she's a multi-platinum rapper, songwriter, entrepreneur. She has hits like My Type, Best Friend. They've earned Grammy nominations as well, BET Awards, Billboard chart success as well. And this is just half of it. Beyond music itself, and keep on clapping, she has built a multi-million-dollar brand empire, which I find really dynamic, and she's going to give us some of the secrets behind it. Not all of them. And some really amazing collaborations and partnerships with brands. McDonald's, Calvin Klein, it goes on and on. Crocs. You bring in food to a lot of these brand deals as well. She started the Icy Baby Foundation, which she'll describe for us as well, trying to redefine financial literacy for the next generation. And that's all on a Tuesday, right? I know. When I was doing research for our conversation, I got to tell you, Sweetie, I was like, I don't know where to really start, but I'll start here. With all of these awards, all of these recognitions across your career in different spaces, when did you go, wow, like this is really more than I thought it would be, or I actually did it?
You know, that's a very loaded question. How does one determine, the success of their lives?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like I attained my first level of success after I graduated from college. I went to school for communication and business at the University of Southern California, and that diploma was like my first adult accomplishment. Right. And then after that, of course, it was getting my label deal, and after that, attaining Billboard success, and then having brand deals, and then creating a brand outside of my own brand, which is Icy, which we'll discuss later. But those were the levels in my life where I feel like I attained a level of success.
Yeah, and I was, you and I were talking earlier, and I was saying how I was thinking of you and Jay-Z and similar paths, not the same, and the Icy brand, right?
Yes.
And how you've really brought that forward. We'll get to exactly what they all mean later.
Absolutely.
But tell us about that, developing that brand for yourself.
Interestingly, I didn't realize that I was creating a brand. I was just doing what I loved every day on social media, which attracted a certain kind of fan base. My fans see me, go to college, graduate, get a label deal, and then do everything that I said that I would do. They call me a manifesting queen.
Oh, yes. I like that.
So I just think my lifestyle became a brand. I became a human brand. I believe in working hard. I believe in being ambitious. And I believe in checking off, those ticks on your goal list.
Now, you grew up in Northern California, Sacramento, Hayward, Lord Tennyson Apartments is what you do talk about in previous conversations. You've lived with your grandmother, who's really special, and I was watching some of her videos, by the way, on Instagram, and please do talk about her. You lived with her on and off. Describe what your upbringing was that brought you to the Icy brand.
So I had a very interesting upbringing. I had very young parents. My mother had me when she was 17 years old. My mother is an immigrant from the Philippines, and my dad is from California. So I would say I was very fortunate to have very loving grandparents who raised me. I had two very ambitious grandmothers. I seen them work every day. I seen them cook. I seen them pay the bills. So I think because I had such strong grandmothers that really made me an ambitious little girl, from having bake sales to selling candy at school, I was always about my money. You were.
And at 14, you knew you wanted to be a rapper.
Yes.
What was the vision? You woke up one day, you're talking to Grandma, and you're like, I'm going to be a rapper, Grandma.
Which she didn't like. She's like, baby, go be a lawyer. Well, contrary to what my persona is today, I was a very introverted little girl, which made me, yes, very introverted. A quiet extrovert, I'll say that.
Yeah.
And the way that I would express myself was through poetry. And at the time, I couldn't see myself doing anything else but possibly doing hair. But then I researched at the time, a hairstylist wasn't making as much as I wanted to make. So I was like, I need a different career because I need the big bag. And then once I realized that my passion could be turned into an actual career, that's when I started writing more.
When was that?
Around 13 years old.
Around 13.
And when you have a creative dream, everybody supports you once everybody supports you. Other than that, you're seen as very delusional. But it's okay, I'm a successful delusional woman.
I mean, if that's delusional, I want to be delusional too. And let's talk about those delusions a little bit. And we're having fun with that word, obviously. Is the business side. Like, when you first look at what she's accomplished musically, first of all, tier one. But what we may not see, unless we read all the articles like in Forbes, Complex, and other different publications, we get to understand that you've really approached your brand platform in a way that you stepped outside of yourself and developed all this value, multi-million-dollar sized value around you. How did you know that that was going to be a logical step to do these different tie-ups as well as these different businesses?
The moment I realized it would be a logical step for me is when I was able to take my IP and create a jewelry line. And the jewelry line consisted of icy chains that said the word icy because I'm the icy girl, that's my brand. And these chains sold so much that it put me in the under 30 Forbes list. So once I saw me published in such a respectable, publication, I'm like, you know what, I can do this. I'm selling chains globally. These women actually believe in what I'm doing.
You didn't think you could do it even though you had already done it when you were 30 under 30?
I always think, I think I could do anything.
Yeah.
But when you actually see it materialize, that's when you're like, okay, I'm really putting the work in, and it's actually paying off.
Now, we also had a line of hats, right? You have tees, you have money-making mommies, excuse me. And
so money-making mommies is actually pre-Saweetie era.
Okay.
When I was in college, I was working four jobs. I was an office assistant. I was coding for one of my professors. I was a waitress, and then I was always working for Nike. And I had about 5 to 6 classes, give or take, a semester, and I was still having fun. And I was like, there's other girls out there who's working just as hard as me, paying off their college debt, going to school at the same time, paying their bills. What are we? We're money-making mommies. So I feel like money-making mommies was pre-Icy Girl, but then eventually, became a bigger brand when I became, who I was.
So those taught you the lessons for the future?
Absolutely. It taught me to work hard. And if you're consistent with hard work, you'll be successful.
Now, you listed 4 jobs you had all at once. They don't seem to actually be from the same category. They're all different. And you're doing it at the same time.
Right. I'm a woman of many lives.
Evidently, at the same time. And you're doing that right now today. So when we look at those, what would you consider your first venture then of all of those? Was it Money Making Mommies?
Well, my first venture was bake sales after church. I was too young to get a job, so I was like, I got to figure out a way to make my own money. So I would bake, goodies and then sell them after church. So that was my first experience as a little businesswoman.
What were you baking?
Cookies, chocolate cakes, strawberry cupcakes.
I'm a Mrs. Fields kid. That's where I worked at a high school, so I'm liking what you did, yeah. You have said you've made some financial mistakes. There's a lot of successes.
Absolutely.
We've discussed some of them so far. Tell us about one of them, and how did it teach you to be stronger and better in your business decisions?
Well, I think that when it comes to financial literacy, I think the biggest component of it all is informed decision making. And the business team that I initially started with, how do I say this without saying it?
Well, it's only you and me. Nobody will know.
Let's just say those mistakes made me wiser,
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for the team that I have now, because now we have projections. There's debt awareness. There's advice on what I should be spending my money on and how much I spent, money on when it comes to like shopping, bills, travel, business decisions. And I think that you're only as strong as your team. So I think that when it comes to financial literacy, yes, it's a very it's a topic that requires a lot of education, but I think the biggest takeaway is just informed decision making.
Saweetie, I was thinking about the way you talk about financial literacy, and I've known others that have wanted to dive into it, but you've really lived it, and you definitely feel it. Like I can tell you want to teach the next generation how to understand it in their bones, right?
Absolutely. Because I don't come from money, so when you acquire a massive amount of wealth, you just want to spend it on everything because you want to experience, the most out of life. However, those purses, those t-shirts, those bags, those shoes, those go out of style. What can you actually invest in? And I feel like my best investment was myself. During COVID, we were stuck at home. I invested into a content team, a videographer, an editor, a photographer, and through my content online, I was able to acquire big brand deals like NYX Cosmetics, like McDonald's, like Crocs, because they were able to see the proof of concept that not only was I an artist, but I'm able to influence on a global, level.
And those who you hire for your business are those that you're trying to also address, right, in your teaching. And as a CEO, what would they say if they were describing you as a business leader? How would they describe you?
Well, I feel like my approach to that is to be a leader and not a boss. I feel like a boss tells you what to do, but a leader teaches you how to do it. And because I have a sports background, I'm very keen on, teaching people, not always expecting them to know it, but to teach them through it. I like to feel like I'm working with a team and not like I'm working with people who work for me.
You talk about your mom, and she has a very interesting history as well, and it's all in the family, if you will. She is a bit of a video vixen herself. She was in some videos, music videos, Nelly's Ride With Me, right? DMX is What They Really Want. And you put that on your YouTube series. I was watching, I was laughing because the way your mom talks to you. Tell us about your mom.
How does she talk to me?
She said, D. And you were like, don't think that my mom wasn't wearing something like that when she was my age.
She's a very colorful woman, a woman of many lives as well. And because I saw her hustle, because I saw her try to, pursue her career in acting, I think that's what really sparked the interest for me wanting to get into the industry at a young age.
And she always has food on the table for you when you come home.
Absolutely. I'm Filipino. I love to eat.
What does she normally have on the table?
Well, my special request is always sinigang. So sinigang is a very, it's a sweet soup from the Philippines, and it has fish, it has vegetables, but just make sure
You're getting a nod yes here in the front row.
Yeah, just make sure you don't swallow the bone.
And I've seen how you and your dad also have a strong bond in also the influence that he's had on your career. Tell us about that.
So contrary to what my mother wanted me to do, she wanted me to go to college. My dad was like, hey, if you want to be a rapper, you need to stay home and make a mixtape. Fortunately for me, I wanted to venture out into the world and, get out of my small town, which is why I went to college. But he's just always been a great teacher. Anytime I had a problem in life, anytime I had an aspiration, he's literally like a history teacher and will just tell me everything that I need to do to either to overcome a challenge or to, get something that I am inspiring to get.
If you had one word to describe Dad, what would the one word be? He won't see this, don't worry.
How would I describe my dad? He's a pioneer.
Pioneer. And what about your mom? What's the one word?
Was beautiful but deadly.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, beautiful. All right, so I was looking at all the brand deals that she has put together, and me and my producer were saying, I don't know if we've seen anybody who has done so many different brand collaborations. And so the ones that I think are really kind of interesting, McDonald's Saweetie and Sour. That's great. And she can describe why, by the way, she was working with McDonald's to create this. The other one, Crocs and Hidden Valley Ranch. I saw the pictures of these. I was gonna. We should all be wearing these. But tell us just about those two brand tie-ups that you did.
So I know we're here to discuss, financial literacy, but let's also talk about branding.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, to cut through the noise, in order to have a strong brand, you have to be authentic. Now, what's authentic to my brand? Besides beauty, besides music, besides fashion, I love to eat. So when people come to me with food deals, they genuinely know that if I do this collaboration, I'm going to eat the food if I like it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to McDonald's after a late night, I want to make chicken. I want the
Saweetie and sour.
the sweet and sour, yeah. So McDonald's came to me because they knew I genuinely loved their food. I would always go live, making a lot of concoctions, so it was a perfect fit.
Now the Crocs and Hidden Valley Ranch. Now I think it's a white Croc, right?
Yes.
And it has all the different vegetables on the toe. Is that what
I would say that's my most interesting collaboration. And the reason why they pick ranch is because not only did I go viral for my McDonald's concoctions, but I put ranch on my spaghetti. So ranch and Crocs came together and we created this brand deal.
And you've done it across music as well, almost all genres. When you are deciding on these collaborations, what are some of the questions that pass through your mind as you're working with your team?
Collaborations with other artists?
Other brands and artists.
Well, I have to believe in the brand. Consumers, they're smart. They know if you're faking it for the bag or faking it just to get the money. But when the brand deal is authentic and when they can see me genuinely loving, what I'm doing at the photo shoot, promoting the product, that's when the business is lucrative. However, if I'm just taking the brand deal and just getting the money, which I have done before, and that was a mistake. And when I did that, I was like, I'm never doing this again, because if I don't love what I'm promoting, then I can't do it.
You're also very creative, though, and I think for all those who are leading brands in the room, what would be the lesson about jumping outside of what you think is safe and what's not safe? Because I'm just, again, the tie-ups, we have a couple of examples. We wouldn't necessarily think that Saweetie would be doing these kind of brand tie-ups. What's the creative lesson or approach that you take to these?
Well, I would say the business lesson is, if it's not aligned with my morals and values of what I do on a day-to-day basis for my brand, then I can't do it.
Now, you said values, and I was thinking of Grandma Roxanne Harper.
Yes.
And she is a very faithful woman.
Yes.
And you do talk about her very adoringly. In fact, her name, Saweetie, comes from her grandma. And she used to call you Sweetie Dee Dee, right?
How did you know that?
Is that right?
Oh my gosh.
And so tell us, I just love that relationship that you have with Grandma Harper. Yeah. I told you, I was just like so amazed at the stories in you and all around you. Talk about Grandma, though. That's kind of cool.
Well, I love my grandmas.
Yeah.
They're like my best friends. And when it comes to my grandmother, Roxanne, I spent so much time with her. She was a real estate agent. I was her little office assistant. She would get her hair and her nails done every Thursday. I'd go to the hair salon with her. But I just saw someone balance the duality of being, not even the duality. She was, a real estate agent, a preacher, a cook for the whole family, and a fabulous woman. And when I saw her balance all of those things, I was like, that's what I want to be. Yeah,
and do check out her Instagram if you need a quiet moment, all right? And you need some soul searching. I want to move to, and was she a former Miss Black Nebraska as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we see where you get it from, right?
Oh, thank you.
Grandma Harper, that's fantastic. Now, she also said, and I want to go to her real estate brand and her business. She mentions, and you've brought this up in the past, 7 streams of income? Mm-hmm. What is that?
7 streams of income to live the life that you want.
Yeah.
She always talks about diversifying, your interests and your talents, just so that you have 7 streams to have the foundation for the life that you achieve to have.
She is, should be writing a book.
Yeah, she's the money maker.
Yeah. And so you've really applied that in your business then, because you have various interests as well as platforms. And as we've already discussed, 7 streams and even more. Who else have been mentors to you other than grandma and family, mom and dad? Who have you looked to and say, wow, that's what I want to be, or they're teaching me something?
You've named it.
Yeah, that's it.
You've named it. I get a lot of great advice from my parents and from my grandmother, and because I know it's coming from a good place, I like to take that and apply it to my life. The advice that they give me.
Your core team, all black women, and there's a reason as to why it's that way. How has that helped your business? Why are those choices that you made? Was that a conscious choice, and why?
My team is actually very diverse at the moment. I think diversity is really important. I feel like when women come from all walks of life, they have different teachings to give you, and I like to be taught. I feel like the more I acquire knowledge, the wiser I get. So as long as I have a team around me that can teach me things and help me grow into the woman that I achieve to be, that's what's important to me.
All right, I want to get into the Saweetie dictionary. I'm just going to toss out the word, and if you could explain what it is. So all of you have to now, you'll have some lingo to use for tonight's dinner and throughout the rest of the Milken Asia Summit. I want to hear it on stage. Icy. What is icy?
Icy. She's an ambitious and fabulous girl.
So ambitious, focused, fabulous.
Focused, yes. Out there, hustling. She's an icy girl.
All right, so that's one word we can. Money. We talked about this earlier. Money making mommies.
That's a good one. Money making mommy is the big sister to icy girl. She's like the first, daughter of the family.
The leader.
The leader.
The teacher leader. Tap in.
Tap in. Joining the conversation. Seeing what's going on.
Get in. So there we have it. All right, for the rest of the summit, Icy, Money Making Mommies. I do want to hear somebody say that. And tap in. And I think that tap in is, the
You
most...
forgot my most famous one, though.
What's that?
I know that's right.
I tried. I was trying to do my best here. I want to move to that last one, Money Making Mommies. A catchy slogan and the foundation. And you decide to start Icy Baby Foundation, and one of the missions that are aligned with that is financial literacy. Talk about how that conversation happened with your team. We should consider starting this. This is an important objective.
So the conversation actually came from my grandmother. I would come to her with all my financial problems, and I'm just like, why do I keep making these same mistakes? And she was like, baby, you need to learn your financial literacy. So it was actually her mission and her passion that she's been, actively teaching in, lower income communities. And through her teachings, I've been able to, apply them to my life. And I think that it's imperative that we teach the generations who come after us about this topic that's, it's big enough to tackle. However, as long as you have the right team around you, you'll be able to make the best informed decisions, because that's what it comes down to.
And what's been the reaction to your message about financial literacy? What is the most common response that you've heard?
Well, interestingly, the little kids were excited.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my grandmother was teaching, I forget which platform it was on, but it was like a Zoom. And every Saturday, she would teach about 30 to 40, kids that ranged between the ages of like 8 and 12. And they were genuinely excited because they wanted to figure out how to acquire and how to maintain, wealth.
Do they say, well, why Saweetie's voice? And why is your voice the right voice to help those that need to understand these important decisions that start very early in life, which you've really underlined in our conversation so far, yet get to this early in life? The more you learn, the better you'll be later on. Why do you think a good voice to share this message?
That's a good question. Am I the right voice? I feel like that's the listener I think that's for the listener to determine. However, because I made so many mistakes, I think that I can teach through the lessons that I've made so that, the next person doesn't make the same, costly mistake.
I think isn't it, if people find it unexpected, then that maybe is the right messenger.
And I think that it's important for kids who look like me to hear it from me, because then they know that that there's someone in their corner who believes in them and who believes that they can, achieve everything that they want to achieve. And then once they do that, how to manage their money.
So when you get asked this question about your background, you're mixed, half Asian, half black, mixed with Filipino and Chinese. You get this question probably a lot, and some don't like answering it, some do like answering it. When you get asked that, what's your typical response when they say, so what's your background?
I'm proud of my heritage. Yeah. It makes me the woman I am today. And I believe as a little girl, I was able to be immersed into two different worlds. And it made me appreciate and respect the duality of not just one side of the family, but both sides of my family. I think it opened my eyes about the world at an early age, Mm-hmm. I didn't believe that there was like one morals or values that you should respect, but there's two. And then through those lessons, I was able to, know that although two cultures may be different, you can respect them.
It's really interesting. I was thinking of one of my mentors, Paula Madison, who's the former executive vice president over at NBC Universal. And she's black and Chinese. And she always says, Richard, it's important that we focus on our mixed community. They are our ambassadors. Mm-hmm. They are our bridges mm-hmm. that we need to build. And she's very passionate about that. Is that going too far? Because that's a lot of obligation for those then. You have a bridge across 3 different groups.
I think it creates purpose, and purpose is important because life is about purpose. Mm-hmm. And I'm very happy to be a representative of those 3 different platforms and to be a combination of all those 3 because the world is complicated. But through merging with one another, we can teach each other on how to make life easier.
And I see it in the discussion we've had so far. In your career, you're a bridge builder.
Absolutely.
Across things that we wouldn't think would be together, mm-hmm. they're together. And so financial literacy, as we were just talking about, one of those. In 10 years, where do you see your brand? Mm-hmm. Where do you see your business ventures in 10 years?
In 10 years, I would think about, materialistic accomplishments. But when it comes down to it, my goal is to have a brand that teaches people how to live an easier, more educated life. Because infrastructure is really important. So if I can teach as much about what I've done so that people can apply it to their life and however they want to interpret it, that's what's important to me, to inspire those who come after me to create a better foundation for themselves.
So as I was looking through all of your social media and your series and your video, the one thing that always happens is that you smile a lot.
Don't we all smile a lot?
Yeah, you smile a lot. And I don't know if that's weird or not, but I thought that stood out in that you always find a moment, right, with your team, your BTS videos, everything. It's not. I think it's more than normal that you do smile a lot. Do people say that you do smile a lot?
I like to have a good time.
Yeah, you do. Mm-hmm. You're a happy individual, I guess is what I'm saying. You're really trying to bring it out in your team by smiling.
I read a lot of self-help books, and emotions are a choice. So if I can be happy, I choose to be happy.
Yeah. Everybody laughed when I said you smile a lot. Why was that strange? I'm a journalist. This is what I do. I was looking through everything. I was like, she's smiley. And I think that's really great, because I smiled, actually. It was like I was watching and I really enjoyed it. Okay, we're now going to do something that they're BOFMs. A list, and you have to pick which is your favorite, and you can answer. Mm-hmm. McDonald's collabs or Crocs collab?
We have to break down both of them.
Yeah, that's what, okay.
Right, so both of them is one of my singles that just came out, and it's a condensed version of both of them. So instead of saying both of them, you say both.
Both of them. So you got another word you get to use
that's
throughout
some more
the summit.
lingo.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So McDonald's collab or Crocs collab?
Both of them.
Grammy on the shelf or Forbes cover on the wall?
Both of them.
Grandma's 7 streams of income or Mom's Tiger Mom Hustle?
Both of them.
Financial literacy lessons or $1 million brand deals?
Both of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Saweetie. That's fun, right?
That was fun. That was fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, wait. Oh, Saweetie, one more picture.